So, today we are going to look at CRA, that is CRA Form 1, under the topic of leadership. So, talking of leadership, we have some Bible personalities, and these Bible personalities, the first person that we are going to look at is Moses. So, the life of Moses. So, under the life of Moses, so at first, I will go down there and look at this at the background. So, looking at the background of Moses, you find that Moses lived a kind of life that is quite different from others, because when you look at the life history when Moses was young, you find that during this time when Moses was born, the firstborns, they were being killed, and the reason as to why these firstborn male sons were being killed is because the king feared that these male sons, they might end up overthrowing the government and taking over his leadership as a king. So you find as a result of this, after Moses had been born by Haman, he was kept in a basket, and the basket was smeared with tar so that water does not enter or penetrate through and reach Moses. So after he did that, he placed Moses on the bucket, and the mother of Moses placed Moses at the reeds near the bank of the river. So we find that all these stories, they are connected with how God was preparing Moses to be a leader. So we find that these are some of the ways that Moses was being prepared to be a leader. And the first one you have seen there, he was nursed by his mother. You find that he lived with the king, and you find that the king was teaching him how to be a leader. He was being taught the roles of a leader. Then apart from this, you find that Moses was living in a desert, and there he was looking after Jethro's flock of sheep. And we find as a result of this all events, all these activities motivated Moses and made Moses to be prepared in a way and become a leader. So we are going now to discuss more and more deeper using some sermon. So we are going to look at why is it that Moses was reluctant when he was called by God to go and deliver the people of Israel from bondage in Egypt. So the first reason is here. So reasons why Moses was reluctant to go and release Israelites from Egypt. Why was Moses reluctant to go and release? The first reason, he had killed an Egyptian. So he had killed an Egyptian, and having killed an Egyptian, he knew that going in there, he will be killed also because of killing an Egyptian. So he feared going back because he knew that he would be killed. The second point, he was not a fluent speaker. He was not a fluent speaker. And not being a fluent speaker, this meant that he would not explain the points clearly, so that Pharaoh would have said to him, would hear clearly of what Moses wanted, or what God had sent Moses. So if as a result of this, God responded to this by saying that he will provide the person who will be a spokesperson, who will help or who will speak on behalf of Moses. Then another thing is that he knew Pharaoh will not. He knew that Pharaoh will not believe what Moses is saying. So Moses knew that Pharaoh was a kind of person who will never listen. He was kind of hard-hearted person. So he will not listen to Moses and let go the Israelites. So if you understand this is why Moses was reluctant. He did not want to go there and see that he releases these people from bondage. That is all about reasons as why Moses was reluctant to go and do whatever that God had told him to go and do. So these are some of the points. You can add more and more as long as they are relevant to what is concerned about the reasons why Moses was reluctant. Then we have the call of Moses. So under the call of Moses, this one was to come before the reasons, but I've decided to come down because we're just going to give an overview. So when we talk of the call of Moses, when Moses was called by God, he was looking after Jethro's flock of sheep, and Jethro was the father-in-law to Moses. So Moses had married a daughter, from Jethro. Now he was looking after the flocks of sheep of his father's-in-law, Jethro. And you find that he was looking after the flock of sheep in payment return of the daughter of Jethro that Moses had married. So he was just like, when he was looking after the flock of sheep, he was paying back the bride price. So after them, you find that when Moses was looking after this flock of sheep, he saw a burning bush. And the bush, he saw a burning bush. The bush was on fire. But in amazement, it was burning, but it was not a bit consumed. So Moses decided to go and move. He decided to move close and see what was happening. And as he was moving close, he heard a sound. Do not move close, do not move close. And he also said to Moses, you are standing on a holy ground. Can you remove your sandals? Moses did that and respected. Moses was very afraid, but God told him, do not be afraid, I am God. So after here, that's when God decided or started to prepare Moses to go and relieve the people of Israel from Egypt, whereby they are working there as slaves. And when we talk of slaves, this involves things to do with you are working, you are being overworked, and even payment sometimes is a problem, and you find that even food sometimes is a problem. So they worked all long. So that's the little about the life of Moses. Next time we shall expound more about the story of Moses. Thank you for watching. Let's meet next time. Bye bye for now.